Hello and welcome to my review of the Malanthrope for Tyranids from Forge World. Or is it Games Workshop? I think it's Games Workshop now. They've kind of pushed all of the models that they made from Forge World into Games Workshop's web store. However, you can't get hold of this anymore. And you can't get hold of the Dimacheron and a lot of the other resin miniatures. They've done away with them. I thought I would review this model mainly because I reviewed it almost 6 years ago now. A lot has happened since 2018. I do have a copy of its rules and I will be reviewing the Dimacheron again, have faith, but it won't be in November because I don't think I will have finished painting it by then. So please do subscribe to the channel and you'll see a review of the Dimacheron fully painted, which is quite rare on this channel. This model, when I did pick it up 6 years ago, was £55. I can only imagine how much it would cost now. Probably 70, maybe 75, which I think is quite a lot for it. What I'll do is I'll have a look at the model up close. We'll go through, there are no spare parts, so we'll go straight into some size comparisons with some other similar sized miniatures. Then I will go through all the rules because I do have a set of the new rules for the Malanthrope. So first of all, it was quite easy to put together. Yes, it's Forge World resin, but it was easy. There's not many parts. It's quite straightforward to clean up. There is a hole in its tail. I guess this is the only way that they could do it. You know, they didn't find a way to flatten out the tail or to an extent where the weight of the model, they were happy with it, you know, being incorporated with the base. If it was plastic, it would be no issue. I'm not quite sure why they spent so much time detailing the base, but they put some rocks and things on it. Would have been cool if there were, you know, just one skull on there or some sacks or something Tyranid. But as it stands, if you get your hands on one of these, you could kind of make your own base. But you know, this is part of the price of the miniature, probably 10 quid's worth of resin there, in Forge World. So, but yeah, it stands on that base. You know, I will be gluing this to the see-through stand once it's sprayed and painted and things, not that long after I've done that. It won't take that long to paint either. It's quite straightforward. Mini. It's an interesting creature. It's got this kind of like, you know, poison sacs all about it. It's a very kind of, you know, poison cloud type creature. It's awful. It really is. If we just look at the deep, awful in a good way, I mean, you know, of course. If we just like zoom in, look at the detail. It's got a number of arms and appendages. I think it's got three limbs on each side, and then it's got this head, very similar sort of Call of Cthulhu kind of ood looking face with these feeder tendrils and these eyes and these big eyebrows, I guess, or brow. You can't really see its mouth. It's quite it's quite disconcerting, really. You got all these poison sacs and the chimneys and these blades around its chitinous carapace. I guess this is where I connected it. That's one piece, the tail, and that's another, and then the limbs were other pieces, and so was the head, and then of course the base. But it's a nice miniature. It goes very well with the Tyranid range, of course. Feeds into all of that. But yeah, that is the Malanthrope. It's a bit tricky to have it kind of stay stood up though, I have to say, unless you glue it. I should have put some white tack or something. But size comparisons then, because there are no spare parts. I wanted to just firstly compare the size to a Zoanthrope right here. I know it's not really psychic, but you know, it's still like a floating kind of Tyranid creature with a big floating body and a tail. and then I want to compare it to the new Neuro Tyrant right here. So it's a fair bit bigger than a Neuro Tyrant. So one of the larger models, really. Just because I've got the Swarm Lord nearby, this is it next to a Swarm Lord. So yeah, taller than one of those. And then I've also got the Norn Emissary. It's not as tall as Norn Emissary, but it's kind of head height. So yeah, it's going to be one of the taller models in the Tyranid force, compared to some kind of infantry size models like the Hormagaunt and the Termagant and the Gene Stealer, of course. Yeah, it's going to tower above all of those. And then compared to the 3 miniatures I always like to showcase, we've got a Legacy Space Marine, a Primaris and Slimarbo. So yeah, if you're going up against Primaris, it's going to be, yeah, probably taller than the Redemptor Dreadnoughts and things. In fact, I do have a Leviathan Dreadnought, so yeah, it would be taller than those, just floating about the battlefield. I didn't trust that it wouldn't fall over, so I put some white tack there. Hopefully that lasts for as long as I'm going to talk about the rules, which is the section that you've arrived at. You'll find the rules if you just type in, the easiest way I did it was to type in Dimacheron rules, and then that will give you a link to go to Warhammer Legends on Games Workshop's Warhammer community site, and then you can find not only the rules for the Dimacheron and the Sky Slasher swarms, bit of a mouthful, but also the Malanthrope. The Malanthrope itself, I have absolutely no idea how many points cost it is, but I can read you its stat line. Its movement is 6 inches, toughness 5, saver 4+, 10 wounds, leadership 7+, and objective control 3. The model is equipped with a grasping tail. The grasping tail is a melee weapon. It's 4 attacks, weapon skill 4+, strength 5, AP 0, and damage 2. So it's not the best. I would avoid melee with it as much as possible. It does have a few nice abilities, such as a core ability called Stealth, faction ability Shadow in the Warp, and Synapse, and it has specific abilities, Enhanced Toxic Miasma. While this model is leading a unit, the range of that unit's Foul Spores Aura ability is increased to 9 inches. It's very nice. Prey Adaptation. Each time this model's unit is selected to fight, select one of the following abilities to apply to all melee weapons equipped by models in that unit until the end of the phase. So this is the main reason why you would get it. You'd select it to be placed into a unit for this Prey Adaptation. The abilities that can apply to their melee weapons are Sustained Hits 1, Lance, and Lethal Hits. So very, very useful. The model can be attached to a following unit, Venomthropes. So this is the main unit that you will attach it to other Venomthropes, of which I'm not sure I have any. Keywords: infantry character, fly, great devourer, synapse, Malanthrope. I just had a look at the Warhammer Legends field manual where they do showcase the points, and the Malanthrope is 75 points. So I hope that helps. How would you use the Malanthrope? Well, you would use it in conjunction with your Venomthropes to bump up that Foul Spores aura, which is typically 6 inches. Basically any friendly Tyranid units within 6 inches of the attack have the benefit of cover, and any Tyranids, excluding monsters, that are also within 6 inches have the stealth ability. So it's nice to get that buff of the Foul Spores, and to then give those Venomthropes a bit more of a buff in close combat, because they are getting the 5 attacks each, but they're quite weak attacks. Don't have AP and only have damage 1, so it's nice to get that buff. And that's the main reason you pick the Malanthrope, other than it looks very cool and creepy. What do you guys think of the Malanthrope? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. Thank you for watching. For the Norn Queen.